Three ladies are hanging out at the park separately. One of them is the owner of this cat. Can you guess who? The cat belongs to the blonde lady. It tore her t-shirt. Lucy lives in an apartment building. She returns home from work, but she can't get inside because someone changed the password for the combination lock on the door. Can you help her get inside? There's a hint on this piece of paper. You need to move all the digits exactly one position back. And this is how we get the code. 8, 1, 5, 3. Lucy gets a message from her sister. She sent her a picture of her nephew. Can you find any mistakes here? The bucket handle is attached to the bottom. Lucy is an actress. She goes to an important audition at a large production company. In the lobby, she meets other actors: Bob, Nellie, Sally, and Kelly. Bob has a crush on one of these ladies. Can you guess who? All three ladies show some non-verbal signals of attraction. But take a look at Bob's body language. His torso is directed towards Nellie, so he's probably attracted to her. Lucy wanders around the lobby and sees these 4 posters on the wall. Which image doesn't belong here? Except for the bicycle need fuel, so it's extra. After the audition, Lucy is heading to the parking lot. Find her Volkswagen car there. Search the mall, find 3 suspects, and question them. Doing here? Karen says, I'm looking for a wedding dress for my sister. Kyle says, I'm just doing my weekly groceries as usual. And Pam says, honestly, I came here for the sake of visiting the restroom. Who's lying? Karen. What kind of bride would trust someone else to choose her wedding dress? The next day, Lucy goes to another audition. She enters the lobby and immediately spots a guest from another planet among these people. Can you see it too? Over here. Lucy is meeting her father, Roger. He has just returned from a very cool trip. He rode to the countryside to see a famous tourist spot on Thursday. Roger loved the place and decided to stay for a few days. He spent 4 days there and returned home on Thursday. How come? Easy. He rode a horse, and its name was Thursday. Roger brought Lucy a gift from his trip. Here's a hint to guess what's inside the box. When you say goodbye, I'm what you need to tie. I come as a couple and go wherever you run. Who am I? Shoes. Lucy and Roger are starving. Thankfully, the cook has just finished baking fresh bagels. Can you spot which one is different from the others? Each bagel has 6 white and 7 black sesame seeds on top. Each except this one. It has 7 white seeds and 6 black. After dinner, Lucy and Roger go for a walk. Can you guess why Lucy is looking behind? The guy's nose is very similar to Roger's. She suspects that her father might have a secret son. Lucy enters the door and sees a creepy secret lab with a caged monster. The door behind her slams shut, and now Lucy needs to get around an electric trap to escape. What lever does she need to press to do so? This one is just a light switch, and this lever will release the monster. So Lucy needs the third one. Lucy turns off the trap and enters the next room. She looks around and sees a metal door, but unfortunately, it's locked. And it requires not just one password, but 3. Lucy has just one attempt to make it right. She finds a sign with 3 words next to the door: happy, coffee, and paper. Can you guess the passwords for each keyhole? Let's take a closer look at the shapes of each keyhole and the shapes of the passwords. Some letters are bigger than others, and each word can fit right in one of the holes. So coffee should be put in the first keyhole. Paper fits into the second one, and the happy word is perfect for the third keyhole. Lucy finishes the job earlier and decides to surprise Sam. She arrives at the mountain village where Sam should currently be, and questions the locals. The car mechanic says, "I haven't seen any strangers recently. You should ask the barista." The barista says, "Sorry, I don't remember any new faces in my coffee shop." And then Lucy comes across an abandoned farm. Its owner says, "I've been living here on my own for a year now. I don't let strangers step on my land and especially into my house." Who's lying? Let's take a closer look at the land around the farmer's house. There are 2 pairs of fresh footprints. These lead in and out of the house, but the second pair of footprints only leads inside the house. Therefore, the farmer is having a guest. But he said he didn't let anyone in, therefore he's a liar. Lucy continues her journey and sees 2 ladies in the countryside. They seem to be alone, but are they? 3 faces are hiding in this picture. Can you find them? Here they are. The ladies tell Lucy that Sam went to the mountains. She follows his route and soon comes across a surreal mountain with carvings that look like animals. Can you spot 8 horses in this picture? Here they are. Lucy goes up the mountain and finds a fancy spa hotel. Lucy finds Sam in the hotel restaurant. They're having dinner with a stunning view. Can you spot anything odd here? Watermelons don't grow on trees. The cook brings the guys the best meals. But let's take a closer look at this picture. There's something wrong here. Can you guess what? There's a cockroach under the table. The local music band begins a concert in the restaurant. Lucy takes 2 pictures. Can you spot 3 differences between them? Here they are. Lucy and Sam pack some fruits and water and go explore the local caves. And eventually, they get lost. They wander around for a while and find 3 doors leading outside the caves. But each door has a hidden surprise. There's a family of hungry elephants behind the first door. The second door is filled with toxic gas that is fatal for any mammal. And behind the third door, there's a booth that teleports people to random galaxies. Which way is more or less safe? The guys should choose the first door. Elephants don't eat humans. They like grass and fruits. So Lucy and Sam can distract the animals by giving them the fruits and escape. Lucy decides to visit the local hot springs. She locks her stuff in the dressing room and goes bathing. Unfortunately, someone breaks into her locker while she's chilling. Her gold watch is gone. Lucy questions 3 ladies standing nearby. Nina says, "I'm a millionaire. I can buy anything." Alice says, "It wasn't me. I think it was Nina. And Ashley says, "We should call the police. My earrings are gone too." Who's the thief? Ashley. Take a look at her hair bun. She hid the stolen watch inside it.
Richard Brooks, a famous jeweler, called the detective's office saying he had just been robbed.
I spent the entire morning showing diamond rings to a few people. A gentleman in a suit, a woman with her son, and a couple. When I looked down to grab the store's most expensive ring, I felt somebody hit me on the head. I fell forward, and when I woke up, everybody was gone,
Brooks told the detective. The detective asked to take a look at the security cameras, and in a few minutes, he figured out who had robbed it. Take a look at the image. Can you tell who did it? If you look closely, you'll see that the woman that was in the store with her son is carrying a teddy bear. But look at that bear's eye. It's bright like a diamond. She must have stolen it. Amy lives in a cozy townhouse with 3 roomies, Jill, Alice, and Nora. Take a look at these 4 bedrooms. Can you tell which one belongs to Amy? Let's go one by one, Sherlock. In the first room, there's a comb with some green hair stuck to it. Nora's the one with green hair, so that must be her room. Then in the room to the right, there's a single red sock under the bed. Take a look at Jill's feet. She's missing that same sock. That must be her room. In the room right under this, there's a yellow jacket hanging on the chair. And Alice is wearing the same colored pants. It looks like the 2 pieces are a suit, huh? This leaves the last room, with a huge letter A poster hanging on the wall. That must be Amy's room. Phew, that took some work. Bobby entered a coffee shop excited to drink his daily cappuccino. But when he went to pay, he realized he had forgotten his wallet. The barista, instead of getting mad at him, suggested another way out. If Bobby could win his game, he would give Bobby the cappuccino for free. Bobby agreed. Okay, I'm going to tell you 3 facts about myself, and you have to figure out which one is false, the barista said. Here are the facts. I have 3 brothers. I hate the color red. I have a PhD in philosophy. Can you help Bobby out? Which fact do you think is false? It's the second one. Look at how many red things the barista owns. His cell phone case, the belt he's wearing, and his hat. Kevin had to travel to Los Angeles on business. He checked into his hotel and went out for the series of meetings he had during the day. After a long day of work, he came back to the hotel exhausted. He ordered some room service and fell asleep binge-watching his favorite TV show. But in the middle of the night, he was woken up and kept turning and tossing around in his bed. That's when he picked up the phone, made a call, didn't say anything, then finally fell back asleep. Who did Kevin call and why? That's easy. He called the room next to his. His neighbor's snoring was through the roof, so it woke Kevin up. When he called his next-door neighbor, it woke him up, and Kevin didn't need to say anything. The neighbor stopped snoring, and Kevin was finally able to sleep. Will and Frank went hiking on their summer vacation. They walked for hours before finding the perfect spot to set camp, in the middle of a deserted island. The next morning, they thought it would be safe enough to leave their things unattended and went for a short walk around the island. When they came back, their stuff was scattered everywhere, and some of their things were missing. Take a look at the picture. Can you tell who stole their things? Nobody. Look at how that palm tree is swinging. A storm is clearly coming and the wind got pretty harsh. So it was probably just the strength of the wind that scattered all their stuff around. And some of it might have gotten into the ocean. Yikes. You wake up and find yourself trapped in a room with 4 doors in front of you. When you hear a monster coming, you're sure you're running out of time, so you check the doors quickly. The leftmost door has a sign on it saying, "Take the door on the right to break free." The second door has a sign saying, "It's the right door." The third door holds the sign, "Freedom is just right in front of you." And the last door has a sign saying, "Don't trust the signs." Which door should you choose? Well, there's a little bit of wordplay here. Let's see why. The first door says to take the door on the right. The second one says it's the right door. It doesn't say that it's the correct door, so one could conclude that it's pointing to some of the doors on the right. The third door says freedom is just right in front of you. But that just doesn't make any sense, does it? You can interpret that as it's pointing to the door just on your right. And that's it. It's the last door. It tells you not to trust the other signs, but it doesn't tell you that they're false, does it? Someone stole a rare diamond from Mrs. Monica Fraser's house. Mrs. Fraser claims she walked into her bedroom and found that the glass box was broken and her diamond was gone. She called Detective Brian, who soon arrived at her place. He gathered 3 suspects. Steve, the gardener, said he was on holiday that week, so he wasn't anywhere near the house when it happened. Sophia, her cousin, said she didn't even know Monica had a diamond hidden in her house. And Adeline, the cleaner, said that when she cleaned the house around 10 p.m. the previous night, everything seemed all right. Take a look at the suspects. Can you tell who stole the diamond? It was Adeline, the cleaning lady. It seems that right after she broke the glass and stole the jewelry, she also wiped off the pieces of glass while cleaning as well. It was a lazy Sunday morning, and John was having breakfast in the kitchen. Suddenly, he heard a loud noise of glass shattering. He walked into the living room and saw that someone had just broken one of his windows. He was mad and decided to go outside to see if he could find the culprit. There were only 3 people in the street. Jake, a young boy, was coming home from football practice. He was holding a ball in his hands, but he swears he didn't do anything. Stephen, John's longtime friend, was carrying a toolbox and said he'd just decided to go over there to fix John's window. Robert, the newspaper guy, was riding his bike and throwing newspapers at people's front lawns. After interviewing them all, John knew who had done it. It was Robert. If you look at the lawn, the newspaper is lying on the grass beneath the window. He threw the newspaper towards the mailbox but missed it and hit John's window. Whoops! It's best John just laughs about this, huh? Becca and Tom are a couple, and they decided to spend their Saturday afternoon enjoying New York's good summer weather. One of them rented a scooter from Brown's Scooters and needed to pay for their ride. The owner of the scooter company came to charge the user the $15 they owed. Both Becca and Tom, who were sitting on a park bench at that moment, were arguing over who should pay for the scooter ride. Becca said that Tom was the one who wrote it, so he should pay for it. But Tom said it was Becca that wrote it, and she should pay for it. Can you tell who's lying? Becca is lying. Take a close look at Becca's footprints. They lead directly to the scooter. Meg is a college student, and sometimes she works as a DJ at the local club. Today, she's walking home after work and sees a band of criminals robbing a bank. They notice her and decide to get rid of the witness. They grab Meg and take her to their secret hideout. Meg looks around and finds 3 doors leading to freedom, but there's a danger behind each door. The first passage is filled with toxic gas. There's a hungry wild wolf behind the second door, and a magic song is played behind the third door. It's cursed and makes people go crazy in a second. Which door is safe? Meg can put her headphones on and turn on some loud music to avoid listening to the cursed song. Meg goes to a fancy SPA hotel on a Friday night. She returns home the next morning at 9 a.m. She finds a bunch of flowers and heart-shaped balloons near her apartment door. The secret admirer is unknown, but Meg identifies 3 suspects. She interviews all of them. She asks just one question: "What did you do last night?" Noah, Meg's classmate, replies, "I was at a party with my friends. I came home at about 6 a.m. Meg's ex-boyfriend, Jacob, replies, "I went to the movies with my new girlfriend. Then we went over to her place, and I came home half an hour ago, so I didn't have time to send you flowers, Meg." And Meg's best friend, Mike, says, "I had a fight with my mother in the evening, so I grabbed my laptop and went to the park. I played computer games in the street all night long, and then I fell asleep right on the bench." Who's lying? Mike. He couldn't be playing all night long without recharging his laptop. Meg is walking down the street. She carries an expensive laptop in her bag. Suddenly, a masked thief grabs her bag and runs away. Meg starts chasing him and sees that the criminal enters a hospital. Meg follows him. Oh no, there are hundreds of rooms here. Luckily, it's raining and the criminal leaves footprints on the hospital floor. Meg follows them and gets into a room. There are 3 people here, all covered with bandages from head to toe. Can you help Meg spot the thief? It's the third guy. He doesn't even have a medical chart next to his bed. Mike invites Meg on a date. She goes shopping with her friend Maya to find the perfect outfit for the night. Maya takes a couple of pictures of Meg. Can you spot 3 differences between them? Here they are. After shopping, Meg and Maya decide to visit a beauty salon, but it turns out that one of these hairstylists is an imposter. Can you guess who? It's the guy on the right. He's spraying the client's hair with bug spray. Mike and Meg go on a date, but one of the guests in the restaurant is not a real human being. Can you guess who? This lady. Take a look under her table. She's a mermaid. Meg is having an important test today, and time is up. She puts her final exam paper into a pile with the other students, but the professor tells her, "I saw you cheating on the test. You'll get an automatic fail." Meg replies, "Do you know who I am?" The professor says, I neither know nor care who you are. You have to be punished for your dishonesty. Meg walks away, speechless. The next day, the professor announces the grades, and Meg discovers that she got an A. How come? The professor indeed didn't know who Meg was. That's why he graded her paper just like everyone else's. Meg and Mike realize they can't live without each other. The next day, they start looking for an apartment. They go to 3 agencies. Each agency shows them one apartment. The guy likes them all, but they heard many bad rumors about realtors. That's why they take a closer look at the documents. Which apartment should they choose? They should pick the third option. The first apartment is on the 5th floor, but that's impossible. The building only has 2 stories. The agent is lying. As for the second apartment, the description claims that it only has 1 bedroom, but the blueprint shows 2. Mike goes to his granny's old country house to take some furniture and a TV for their new apartment. Nobody lived there for a while, so this place is pretty dusty. Mike enters the living room and sees that the TV is broken. He questions 3 neighbors. Andy says, "I didn't do it, but I guess it was Kyle. He's been acting pretty weird recently." Kyle says,
It wasn't me, it was Bill. He broke my fence last week for no reason.
and Bill says,
I didn't do it. I'm pretty sure it was Kyle. He's just trying to set me up.
"Who broke the TV?" Let's take a look at the TV screen. It was pierced with a garden fork. Kyle is holding a garden fork in his hands, but it only has 3 prongs, while there are 4 holes in the screen. Meanwhile, Andy's holding a 4-tined pitchfork in his garage. Busted! Meg loves art, so she's visiting an art exhibition to find something special for their interior. The art dealer says that this rare work was painted in the Middle Ages. Meg takes a closer look and says, "You're a liar! This piece is fake!" How did she know? They didn't use light bulbs or electricity in the Middle Ages. What about this painting? Can you spot anything odd? They didn't have smartphones in the Viking era. Let's see if you can spot a mistake in this painting. There are dinos in the background. They went extinct a long time before the Baroque era. Meg and Mike get an invitation to a wedding. This is the groom, Alex. He's an old friend of Meg. And his future wife's name is Nellie. Which of these ladies is Nellie? It's the third lady. She's wearing a name bracelet. Meg and Mike return home from the wedding. Unfortunately, someone robbed their apartment. The police arrive quickly and examine the crime scene. They question 3 neighbors who live on the guy's floor. Tilda says, "I was watching my favorite show in my headphones all day long. I don't know what happened." Steven says, "I was riding a bicycle in the park all day. I returned a couple of hours ago and went to the shower. Your door looked as usual." And Megan says, "I had a party in my apartment. We had dinner and talked loudly, so I didn't notice anything suspicious." Who's lying? Steven. His leg is in a cast, so his story about the bike must be fake. Mike has just returned from a supermarket, but unfortunately, someone changed the 5-number code on the combination lock. So he can't get into the apartment building. Can you help him crack the code? There's a note next to the door. It's a clue. Count the number of elements in each emoji and you'll get the code. 3, 5, 1, 5, and 2. Mike works in a coffee shop. He leaves his phone charging on a table and goes to the toilet. After a while, Mike returns and finds out that his gadget is gone. He decides to question 3 witnesses standing nearby. Ava, the customer, says, "Sorry, I've been talking on the phone with my boyfriend. I didn't look around." Another customer, Rocky, says, "I entered the coffee shop a second ago. I didn't see a phone, man." And Holly says,
Sorry, I was too busy preparing beverages for our clients. I didn't notice anything suspicious.
"Who's lying?" Rocky. He was standing in the line before Mike even left for the toilet, so his story's a lie. Mike and Meg are walking in the park late at night. Everything seems so romantic, but suddenly the guys notice something really creepy and run away. What scared them so much? Let's take a look at the trees. The wind is blowing from left to right, but the flowers sway from right to left as well as the clouds. It must be a ghost. Kai wakes up on a cruise ship. He's in a cabin in total darkness. He has only one matchstick. What should he light first? A newspaper, a candle, or a lamp? Kai should light the matchstick first. Kai leaves the cabin and walks down the hallway. To reach the deck, he needs to enter one of these 3 doors, but each passage has an obstacle. A huge venomous snake is crawling behind the first door. There's a kraken with creepy tentacles waiting behind the second door. And there's a hungry megalodon with sharp teeth behind the third door. What should Kai choose? Kai should pick the third door. Megalodon can't survive without water, so it's not dangerous anymore. Kai goes out on the open deck. He spots 4 weird details right away. Can you see them too? There's Saturn in the sky instead of the sun. This table doesn't have any legs. There's a hula hoop hanging on the deck instead of a life buoy. And this passenger's shadow doesn't match the reality. Kai is starving. He enters the ship's dining hall. Unfortunately, he missed dinner hours. The waiter says that they have only 3 meals left, but only one of them is safe to eat. Can you guess which one? Let's take a look at this pizza. Can you see these metal nuts among the topping ingredients? It's definitely not safe. As for this pudding, there's a spider stuck in it, so Kai should probably choose the sandwich. Kai looks around and sees 3 security guards having lunch, but one of them is actually a thief. Can you spot this person? It's the lady in the middle. Take a closer look at her hat. There's a fake logo on it. The star doesn't match the logo that the other 2 ladies are wearing. Also, she's wearing a fake uniform. Her clothes are underneath. Kai decides to follow the fake security guard. She enters the storage room and puts something inside a safe. Kai wants to find out what she's hiding there, so he waits until she leaves and tries to open the safe, but it's locked. So he needs to enter a 4-digit code. There's a clue in this room. Can you help Kai crack the code? Let's take a look at these 4 suitcases. The number of stripes on them implies the digits in the code, so the password is 3514. Kai opens the safe and finds 2 similar gemstones inside it. One of them is a real diamond, and another is a fake copy made from quartz. How can Kai quickly find out which diamond is real without using any special equipment? He should drop both gemstones into the water. Quartz will float and sink slower because it's less dense than the real diamond. Kai tells the ship's security guards about the thief and goes to his cabin. Suddenly, he sees his neighbor Molly in the corridor. She's very upset. What happened? Someone robbed my cabin while I was hanging out by the pool. They took all my jewelry. Kai explores the space and says, "The thief must be your enemy. It's not a regular robbery." How did he know? Take a closer look at the mess. The thief opened the lipsticks and smeared them on the floor on purpose. Also, all the shampoo bottles are spilled, and Molly's dresses are torn. Why would an ordinary thief waste time on these things? Therefore, the criminal had an intention to cause as much damage as possible. Kai checks the cabin with a special ultraviolet flashlight. Can you help him spot 3 clues? Here they are. Kai goes for a walk around the deck trying to find further clues. Can you spot a superhero around the passengers? Over here. Kai returns to his cabin. Can you find 3 emojis in this room? Ready to see the answer? Here they are. Kai can't find the key to his suitcase. Can you find it in this variety? It's over here. Kai goes to the local smoothie cafe to get some fresh juice. Can you spot 1 extra emoji on this image board? This cactus is the only inedible emoji here. Kai returns to his cabin and sees that someone drew a threat on his door. Kai looks around the hallway and finds 3 suspects. He questions them right away. What were you doing within the last 15 minutes? Sheila says, I was just taking selfies on the deck for my social media. And then I went to my cabin to put on another outfit. You can see it for yourself if you don't believe me. Lily says, I got sunburned in the morning, so I was just laying in my bed, eating and watching my favorite show. And Jean says, I just finished my workout in the gym, and I'd like to have a shower if you don't mind. Who's lying? Sheila, take a look at the dress in her selfies. It's the same outfit that she's wearing now. Therefore, her story is fake. The ship's security guards interrogate Sheila and check her bags. Can you see anything suspicious in her luggage? This shoe is clearly larger than all the others, and it doesn't have a pair, so she's probably hiding something inside it. The next morning, Kai wakes up very early and goes to the pool. It's almost empty. There's only one beautiful lady chilling on a sun lounger. Kai approaches her to introduce himself, but suddenly he changes his mind. Why? There are 2 inflatable flamingos in the pool, and also 2 cocktails, one in the lady's hand, and another one probably belongs to her spouse, because she has a tan line on her ring finger. Kai decides to go to the dining area to have breakfast. Can you spot anything odd? What's wrong with this lamp? After breakfast, Kai goes to explore the ship and gets lost in its corridors. Can you figure out which path will lead him to the center? Only path C will actually lead Kai to the center. Kai enters the exit door, but there's another trap. The door slams shut behind him. He needs to enter a 4-digit code to open the combination lock and escape. Luckily, he finds a note with a hint. Can you figure out the code? To solve this mystery, we need to count the number of identical figures in this picture, and the code is 2463. Kai returns to his cabin after 3 hours of absence. Wow, there's a huge gift box on his bed. The card says it's from a secret admirer. Only 3 staff members had access to his cabin today. Kai questions them all. The repairman says,
I entered your cabin 30 minutes ago to fix the sink. It's okay now. But anyways, I'm too broke to bring gifts to the passengers.
The cleaning lady says,
I entered your room about an hour ago to change the bed sheets and take out the trash, but I didn't see any gifts.
And the manager says,
I have a master key, but it's always in my pocket.
Nobody warned me about any gift deliveries. Who's lying? The cleaning lady said she had taken out the trash, but the trash bin in Kai's cabin is full. And there are many flies around it, which probably means that it's not very fresh. So her story must be fake. Now, he's trapped on a deserted island. He only has a mirror and a piece of wood. What should he do to survive? Kai can use the mirror to reflect sunlight onto the wood, creating a signal fire so that the rescuers could find him. Jules lives with her 3 roommates in a cozy house near the college campus. One day, she comes home and finds out that her jewelry box is gone. She calls the police. Detective Bold arrives right away and studies the crime scene. The thief only took the jewelry box, and there's no evidence of a break-in, so the thief used a key. Only 3 people besides Jules have a key to this house, her roommates. The detective interrogates them. Christy says,
I haven't been home all day. I went to the pet shop, and it's pretty far.
Misty says,
I was at a friend's house next door. We watched a movie. I'm shocked. Our neighborhood is very safe.
Betty says,
I work as a barista. I was in a coffee shop all day. Ask my boss if you don't believe me.
Detective Bold takes a look at the map of their town and immediately realizes who the thief is. What about you? Christy mentioned that the pet shop was far, but there's only one pet shop in this town and it's very close to their house. She is the thief. That's why she lied. Jules, Betty, and Misty kick Christy out of the house, and now they need to find a new roommate. They make a post on social media, and soon after, they get 3 applications. Can you help them choose the right candidate? According to Bella's date of birth, she's not even been born yet. And Rosie makes way too many mistakes in her message for someone who's working as an English teacher, so they should pick Izzy. Finally, Izzy is moving in. She hires a truck to carry all her stuff. Can you count the number of butterflies here? Nine. What about the living room? Can you spot all the butterflies? The correct number is 6. The next day, Jules goes to the library. She spots someone with superpowers here. Can you see this person too? This guy controls plants. Take a look at this flower. Jules wakes up in a haunted hotel. The only way to escape is through one of these 2 corridors. Surprise! Each passage has an obstacle. What should Jules choose? Take a closer look at the clown lady. She's transparent. Therefore, she's a ghost. Despite her creepy looks, she'll do less damage than a real tangible zombie, so it's safer to choose her. Jules braces herself and walks through the left corridor. The ghost gives her a hint.
The exit is hidden in one of the hotel rooms. Take a look at these cards and guess the room number.
Can you help Jules figure it out? To solve this mystery, we should pay attention to the number of legs they're standing on. Flamingo implies 1, cat 4, spider 8. So the code is 148. Finally, Jules escapes from the haunted hotel. She finds herself in the middle of a town. She's starving, but she doesn't see any cafes nearby. Jules takes a look at the map. Turns out, this town is enchanted. There are weird runes all over the map instead of the regular words. Can you help Jules find a cafe? Take a closer look. These are actually doubled English letters. To understand what's written on the map, you need to separate them. Here's a bus stop, a park, a mall, a shop, and a cafe. Suddenly, Jules sees a raccoon. She decides to take a couple of pictures for her social media. Can you see 5 differences between these 2 photos? Ready to see the answer? Here they are. The next morning, Jules buys a cake to celebrate her birthday. She puts it in a fridge and asks her roommate to stay away from it until the party starts. Jules goes to her room to get ready for the evening. Then she returns to the kitchen. Oh no! Someone picked the cream and ruined the cake glazing. Jules questions 3 roommates. Misty says, "I didn't enter the kitchen. I was dealing with balloons and decorations." Izzy says,
I applied my makeup in my room. I don't know who did it.
Betty says,
I prepared some snacks for the party and then went to the shower, but I didn't touch the cake.
who did it? Take a closer look at Misty's false nails. One of them is missing. She dropped it at the crime scene. Busted! The birthday party begins. Guests come over and put their gifts on a table. What gift did this lady bring? Can you guess? Let's take a look at her makeup. She has purple glitter on her cheeks. This black box is decorated with the very same glitter, so this is her present. Jules is busy in the kitchen. Can you spot anything odd here? This sink doesn't have a faucet. Jules puts on her birthday dress and enters the living room. She takes a look at the guests, turns pale, and runs away. Why? Jules got scared because one of the guests is a ghost. A few days later, Jules wakes up early. She goes to the basement to do some laundry. Oh no, someone scattered cleaning products and garbage all over the floor. It's a hot mess. Jules questions her roommates. Misty says,
I did my laundry at noon yesterday, and then I went on a date. The basement looked tidy as usual.
Izzy says,
I vacuumed the floors in the basement yesterday evening. I have no idea what happened here.
Betty says,
Yesterday I didn't have any plans, so I was just watching the series all day and went to bed early. I didn't even go to the basement.
Can you guess who's guilty? It wasn't people who did it. Can you see this raccoon? Apparently, he sneaked into the house at night and made a mess. Jules' roommate Betty has just received a loan to launch her own business. Her dream is to open a coffee shop. Jules offers her help. Her task is to find the perfect location for the future coffee shop. The first one is located in an office district. There are few residential buildings here, but there's a large food court. The second property is placed in a very large neighborhood with many apartment buildings, schools, supermarkets, bakeries, and coffee shops. And the third property is located in a new district. Many families live here, and so far there are few cafes. Can you help the guys make the best choice? Office workers can go to the food court, and they probably won't have much time to visit the coffee shop. As for the second option, there are too many competitors, so the third spot is the best choice. Jules wanders around for a while and finds 3 doors leading outside. But each path hides some dangers. There are venomous snakes crawling behind the first door. There are creepy maniacs in clown costumes waiting behind the second door. And there are huge dinosaurs behind the third door. Can you help Jules choose the right way? These dinosaurs are herbivores. They only eat leaves, so they're not dangerous to Jules. Jules gets a new job. She's a salesperson at a fancy clothing shop now. One of the regular customers, Jessica, is a billionaire. She comes over to buy something fancy. Unfortunately, someone sneaks her diamond bracelet. The local security guard questions 3 suspects. Jules says,
I've recently got this job. I wouldn't risk ruining my career like that.
Jill, another customer, says,
I've been eating my ice cream and checking out the clothes.
and Bianca, the janitor, says,
The space must be tidy, so I dusted the shelves as usual.
After hearing what they had to say, the guard knows for sure who's a liar. What about you? Jill said she had been eating ice cream, but there's a sign at the door forbidding you from entering the store with food. She made up this story because she's the thief. Jules goes to the local food court to get some lunch. It's pretty crowded. Can you help her spot a runaway criminal among the customers? There he is!
Hey, listen up. Today's riddles will help you develop better concentration, boost your analytical skills, and of course, have some fun. Off we go. Can you figure out how to divide a pizza into 8 equal slices using only 3 straight cuts? If you haven't figured out the answer, let me show you. Step 1. Cut the pizza straight down the middle into 2 halves. Step 2. Keeping the 2 halves in place, cut the pizza straight down the middle at right angles to the first cut. You'll be left with 4 equal quarters. Step 3. Pile the 4 quarters on top of each other and cut through the middle of the pie. You'll have 8 equal slices, and depending on the toppings, a really big mess. Now imagine you've got a box with marbles. All but 2 are blue. all but 2 are green, and all but 2 are red. So how many marbles are there in the box? There are just 3 marbles, 1 blue, 1 green, and 1 red. 4 travelers need to cross a bridge at night. Unfortunately, they only have 1 flashlight, and the bridge is too dangerous to cross without one. It's only sturdy enough to support 2 people at a time, and it takes each person a different time to cross the bridge. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 7 minutes, and 10 minutes. So, what's the shortest time all 4 of them need to cross the bridge? It's 17 minutes. Person 1 and Person 2 go first, then Person 1 comes back. Then the person who needs 7 minutes and the one who needs 10 minutes go to the other side, and Person 2 comes back. After that, Person 1 and Person 2 go again, which makes a total of 17 minutes. In this one, there are several 4-legged chairs in a room, as well as a few 3-legged stools. If one person sits on each of the chairs and stools in the room, then there will be 39 legs and feet in the room. How many chairs, stools, and people are there in the room? There are 4 chairs, 3 stools, and 7 people. Now I've got another tricky task for you. Can you continue this sequence? 77, 49, 36, 18. The trick is that each subsequent number is the product of the digits of the previous one, which means that the next number in the series will be 8. A farmer lived in a small village with his 3 sons. One day he gave the guys $100 and told them to go to the market. They were supposed to buy 100 animals for this money. At the market there were chickens, hens, and goats. A goat cost $10, a hen was $5, and the price of a chicken was 50 cents. The farmer also told his sons that there had to be at least 1 animal from each group. The guys had to spend all the money, and only on buying animals. And there should be 100 animals, not a single animal more or less. So, what can the sons buy? They should purchase 1 goat for $10, 9 hens for $45, and 90 chickens for $45. Now look at this table. It's missing 2 numbers. Can you figure out what numbers you should use instead of the question marks? The numbers 7 and 0 are missing, since the table shows the addition of the numbers in this column, 32659 plus 51847 equals 84506. Now, let's check and see if you can figure out this little poem. There is a word and 6 letters it contains. Take 1 away, and 12 is what remains. What word is it? This is the word dozens. Ooh, that's a sly one. Can you create a number using only the digits 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, and 1? But not everything is so simple. This number should have all 8 digits. You have to make sure that the 1s are separated by 1 digit, the 2s are separated by 2 digits, the 3s are separated by guess what, 3 digits, and the 4s are separated by you know what. This number is 41312432. Wow, that was a tough one. 26 equals 1, 380 equals 3, 244 is 0, and 84 equals 2. What is 288 equivalent to? The answer is 4. The result is equal to the number of circles you need to use to write these numbers. For example, 8 has 2 circles, 0 has 1, and 4 has 0 circles. So 2 equals 0 and 8 equals 2, which means that 288 equals 4. If you're 8 feet away from the door to your house, and with each step you cover half the distance to the door, how many steps will it take you to reach the door? Sad news, you will never reach the door. If you only cover half the distance every time you move, then you will always have half the distance remaining, no matter how small the number is. A single white lily grows on the surface of the pond. This is a rare species that constantly breeds, throwing out more and more new flowers. Thus, every day, the surface area of the lake occupied by flowers doubles. In 1 month, the entire reservoir will be overgrown. How long does it take to fill the entire lake if, initially, there were only 2 flowers? In this case, it will take the same month minus 1 day. O, T, T, F, F, S, S, E. Alright, look at this sequence of letters and try to find the logic behind it. What letter should go next in this sequence? It should be the letter N. Those are all the first letters of the numbers spelled in order. O is 1, T is 2, T is 3, F is 4, F is 5, etc., etc. So the correct answer is 9. 3 students who moved in together decided to buy a new teapot that cost $300. They gave $100 each. The seller received $300. But then he found out that the price of the teapot had already decreased. It now cost $250. So he decided to return the extra $50 to the girls. But 50 is not divisible by 3, the salesman thought. He returned $10 to each girl and put the remaining $20 in his pocket. As a result, each girl ended up giving $100 minus 10 equals $90 for the teapot. It means that a total of $90 times 3 equals $270 was given to the seller. Plus, there was $20 in his pocket, which makes $290. Where did the remaining $10 go? The question itself is misleading. You shouldn't add $20 to $270. The $20 in question are already included in this $270. $250 plus 20 equals $270. This is the amount the girls paid. The total amount of money has not changed. $270, the money the seller got, plus $30, the amount the seller returned, equals $300. After the purchase, the money was distributed as follows. The girls, $30. The teapot itself, $250. The dishonest seller, $20, which adds up to the original $300. And the girls never found out. Now, try to think outside the box. How do you divide 188 in half so that you get 100? Draw a horizontal line across the middle of this number, dividing 188 in half, and you'll get 100 twice. A smart trader is traveling from one place to another with 3 sacks, each of which contains 30 coconuts. No sack can hold more than 30 coconuts. On the way, the trader passes 30 checkpoints. At each checkpoint, he has to give 1 coconut for every sack he is carrying. So what's the maximum number of coconuts he can have with him at the end of his journey? he will have 25 coconuts with him at the end. You need to take into consideration that the number of sacks decreases as he passes checkpoints. The first 10 checkpoints require 3 coconuts each, which empties the trader's first sack. The second 15 checkpoints require 2 coconuts each, which will empty his second sack. Now he is left with 1 sack and 5 more checkpoints. So the 5 remaining checkpoints will take 1 coconut each. Therefore, he'll be left with 25 coconuts. And I think I'd find another country to sell my coconuts. The taxes here are too high.